Oh, he's happy. Very good.
Hello, Robin.
So I wanted to give you an update on Scout.
Awesome. Do tell me.
Oh, hi, Robin. Robin's from Kentucky. Okay, so he has been, first of all, loving the food.
Awesome.
It's like he sits there and just stares at me and stares at the fridge. So that is very cool.
That is very cool.
I feel good about that because normally he just kind of grazes. He'll leave half his food and then 6 hours later he'll go eat it. He wasn't very interested in it before, but now he loves it. The other thing I've been doing is, on your advice, giving him food once a day. So I transitioned him to twice a day and then once a day. And so once a day at lunchtime, he gets a big serving of the raw food. He absolutely loves it. And so from 2 things I wanted to update you on is we've had some changes in his fecal matter. So his poop has changed, which we're going to talk about. And then the other thing is he stopped limping for a week. And then he's limping a little bit now, and we still have been walking him. We haven't, just put him on bed rest and not given him exercise because I know with arthritis, it's probably not best to do that. So I'd love to get some ideas from you on either topic. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about his limping because that's quite important. For the joints, we're looking at adding collagen. So now I think you have a collagen supplement that you use on a regular basis anyway. But what you could also do is you could make a bone broth or, excuse me, or some sort of jelly if you can get hold of gelatin.
Yes, I love that.
Forgive my little munchkin. What else do we use for joints? So oils, if you can add, I know you have access to the best MCT oil in the world.
I do. And if he's getting Alzheimer's, it will help with that as well.
Yeah, dogs do actually get dementia. It's unfortunately.
No, don't talk to me about that.
We had the most wonderful dog, Muggley, who is actually, this is him on the front cover of our magazine. Wonderful dog. Went over to America. One ugliest dog in the world was this.
Oh my God.
I know, was this sweetest, cutest little dog, so loving. Unfortunately, he succumbed to dementia. So yeah, it does happen.
Oh,
unfortunately.
You know what? I made that joke and I hadn't even really thought about it.
So. Most people don't. No, don't worry.
Bad, but
don't worry.
Okay.
Dogs also get autism, Kristy.
Yeah, and I feel good though that we're making some changes for him that I think will be really powerful because he's 12 now, and I really would love to do as much as I can to make sure that he sticks around for like at least 18 because he's a medium-sized dog. He's 22 kilos. He's not tiny, but he's not really that overweight, and so we'd love to be able to help him with all that stuff. Now, one of the cool things you mentioned was bone broth. You and I had talked about this, but just as like a smidgen. So I think it's really important to get the viewer some information on how to make bone broth because it's not just for dogs. We can make our own bone broth as well and sip that all day long.
So again, I want to hark back to our first talk and say, if you're going to put bones and you're going to boil them up in water in a pan for ages, you cannot feed them to your dog afterwards. They must be thrown away. So, but I will generally start with throwing in a chicken carcass. Just the carcass. You can get just the carcass. I used to get big boxes, like 20-kilo boxes of just carcass for like £3, which is like $6. Yeah.
For chickens?
Okay, cool. Because they sell them to the restaurant industry. So because restaurants will use them for broth and for other things. But so you can get chicken carcasses, other sorts of carcasses, with all the meat stripped off. If you want bulk, because I used to feed carcasses, if you want them in bulk, if you go to places that supply the restaurant industry, that's a great way to go for them. So a lot of people will start with a chicken carcass. They might get a duck neck, they might get a pig's trotter, throw them all in together. They might add some herbs. And you can add the herbs that are appropriate to your dog. So when I say appropriate to your dog, I am saying if your dog has a possibility or a tendency for epilepsy, do not add rosemary. because it sparks it, right? But you might.
So for the average dog that just has arthritis or is getting older, what are the spices that they enjoy and that will also provide some nutritional value?
I tend to use oregano quite a lot. It's a real health boost, especially if you can. I mean, a lot of places you'll find in health food shops you can actually get oregano oil. It has you get a load of health benefits from that. So if you've just got some dried oregano, obviously in the cupboard because you use it in your own cooking, you can just throw some of that in. That's often what I will go for.
Okay, cool.
So then you obviously boil it, and you can boil it for quite a long time, because what you're doing is all the nutrients are coming out into the water, and it's only the water which will, if you put a pig's trotter in it, most likely turn to jelly. But you can actually sort of take all the bones out and add gelatin and turn it to jelly, which I have done before, and I've added vegetables and just sort of put it in. I know you've got a little round silicone tray.
So we've got the tiny muffin trays that are silicone, and they're so easy to clean. So this morning, Kai is 3, and so we're trying to think of sugar-free, like things that are going to boost her brain power, help with her blood sugar. So we made her some keto jellies. So we have pure therapeutic ketones that we mix with water and gelatin, and we made them like gingerbread molds and stars in different shapes. So for her, it's a great snack. But I would love to try that with the gelatin and the bone broth, because we've done bone broth for years, but we have never done it into a jelly.
Add the gelatin to the bone broth, and put it in those. Those sort of little. So I've seen you've got some circular silicone trays that are a little bit bigger, and then you can just literally plop one of those out into Scout's dinner bowl on a regular basis.
Oh, he will love that. Awesome. Thank you for that tip. That's fantastic. So with the can we use a slow cooker or a pressure cooker for that?
You can. I know
what's your recommendation?
Don't actually like slow cookers and pressure cookers. I haven't, to be honest, because in my family we've never used them. I haven't really looked into it. I've always just done it on the hob with a large saucepan.
I think I would do slow cooker. I think I'd do slow cooker, because then I can leave it on for 8 hours and go out and do stuff. And it's a low heat. So it's sort of like, on the oven, stirring it, or on the stove, stirring it, versus a pressure cooker, which might not achieve what we're looking for, but that's something I can look at later. But I'm really excited to try that. So we've got that with the collagen. We've got the oregano oil. What else can I add? Should I add fish oil?
Fish oil is actually inflammatory. So we advise against it. And any oil that you find in a bottle, because there's air in the top of the bottle, that oil is actually going rancid. Mm-hmm. So we don't recommend using any oil that you get in a bottle at all. So the best way to do it is, as I say, if you can go for your MCT oil. But another thing you could add to Scout's dish, and you can get them sort of frozen and just take a couple out a day, is green-lipped mussel. That there's tons of sun.
You messaged me that, and I was like, "Is she like a typo?" I'm like,
green-lipped mussel. It's a form of mussel as seafood, and you can buy like a big sort of bag of it, stick them in the freezer, take a couple out a day. And add it to the food. There is a whole host of other advantages.
Oh my God, amazing.
To actually adding mussels to the food. And also it's scientifically proven to help with joint issues.
And so my husband's going to be wondering why our dog is eating better than he is.
That's actually almost a standing joke within this niche. My dog eats better than I do. It's actually, that's
funny.
How I started. My dog ate better than I do, and I went, hang on a minute, I could start this too.
Oh my God. Okay, cool. Well, I feel like we've covered that pretty well. I'll give you people some updates as I start experimenting with this broth. So thank you for that. And the mussels and the MCT is an easy one because I've got that in the cupboard. So we'll do all that. Would love to talk to you quickly about what's going on with his stool, because the color has changed. It's evaporating in the sun. What's happening there?
That's actually one of the first things people tend to notice when you convert a dog over to raw feeding is that the stool is drier. It doesn't smell as much. It's much smaller. It's much harder. So there are a number of explanations for this. One, unfortunately, kibble contains non-absorbable fiber. Now, they use this to try and help push it through the digestive system. But if it's, what it does is it bulks out what the animal is passing. Now, the reason they put it in, one of the reasons it goes in to bulk out what the animal is passing is because without it in there, what they would be passing is diarrhea. And if they were passing nothing but diarrhea, you would know that there was something wrong.
Yeah, it'd be pretty unhappy.
So they include this non-digestible fiber. Okay, now the other thing that happens with the very soft, large stools that come out from that is you tend to get impacted anal glands. I don't know if Scout's ever had that, but you may have heard that with other...
No, but we had a friend that had that issue, and it was really sad. It was unfortunate. They were able to get it fixed, but it was, I mean, they had no idea.
And it's caused by the food, and it's horrible. And you're going into the vet every 2 weeks for somebody to squeeze out the anal gland, and it stinks, and they're carpet scooting and all the other things. Now that's because the what is being passed is so soft. When they go onto a raw diet and they're passing something that's a lot harder, that naturally expresses the anal glands. Which,
that's really interesting.
So that's one problem you lose.
You guys didn't know you were going to hear about anal glands tonight. That's just a bonus.
Now, there's another thing that happens is you get a huge color differential, you may have noticed. Right. So, color in what we pass, in what we humans and dogs pass, the color is from dead blood cells. The browny, blacky color is from dead blood cells. Now, what you tend to find is raw feeding dogs don't have very dark fecal matter on a regular basis, unless you feed too much heart, too much lung, too much liver, because those three items, the offal is very, very high in blood. So it's the dead blood from what they are eating. Kibble-fed dogs don't have a great deal of blood in what they're eating. It's their own blood. So if you think about that, their own blood is dying and being remade at a rate of knots in order for their fecal matter to be that dark. So their whole body is having to concentrate on blood production at a rate of knots compared to the raw fed animals who don't have, I mean, I've had, fecal matter from white to sort of yellow. Very rarely is it brown. So if the whole body is concentrating that hard on blood production and elimination, what chance has it got to work on immunity?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's just a lot to process. Like, I'm hearing that for the first time. It's going to make me think about what I need to, what else I can do, and like, what would I do differently if we had a new dog? So I love all this. It's so interesting. And so Christine's just joined us, and she's an amazing naturopath. She'll be really enjoying this, and I'm going to be going live with her this weekend too to talk about some more stuff. So I really appreciate this. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments for Hope, because she is just a fountain of information and all this stuff, nutritional, holistic for your pets and for people too, but she's got a real passion for pets. And so Hope, you and I are going to be doing this again next week. So really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I will try and get the carcasses and put together some bone broth and also some of the gelatins. So thank you so much again for your time.
No problem at all. And as you say, any questions, don't worry if we're not live anymore, put them in. We will come back and answer you. Sorry about my son still playing with Thomas the Tank. But yeah. Oh, Bless you, Jacinta. That's very, very kind. If you just message me and I'll tell you how to do it. No problem. Jacinta's asking to, saying she needs to change her puppy's diet. And as you said, if you got a new dog, then yeah, I'll happily talk you through. You can just put them straight on to the advantage of raw. Like if you're feeding a kibble diet and you want to change them to a different kibble diet, you have to do it slowly to stop them from getting a digestive
you have
upset.
to integrate it.
You don't have to do that with raw. So much easier. You just go bang.
Gosh, so interesting. Yeah, I asked you all those questions when we first started. I had 1,000 questions. And if you guys scroll back on, Hope's page or my page, you can see our first talk about how I was asking her about how do I start with this whole process. I want to start doing more raw food and species appropriate. So very cool. It's all there, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight, Hope.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking all your questions. And let's hope this is helping other people, helping other dogs. And now next we have to work on your
Thanks,
cats.
Guys. Stop it. We still haven't finished scouting. One thing at a time.
Okay. We'll catch you later.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.